Hey, welcome back to my channel. We are going to jump right into today's makeover of this chest I picked up from a local auction online about a week ago, along with all of these other furniture items. This dresser is pretty old solid wood, dovetail drawers, and overall in good condition. I removed all of the drawers and the hardware so I could begin the cleaning process. With older pieces like this, I've really been liking using a brush and some dish soap and warm water to scrub it all down before wiping it down with a cloth. I find that it really does remove that much more dirt and grime off. I did not ever scrub, but only wipe down the inside of the dresser as well as the inside of the drawers. I moved on to using my orbital sander and sanding away the old finish on the top drawer as well as the entire top of the dresser. I used 80 grit, then 120 followed by 220. I really liked the original hardware because they were made out of wood, so I sanded those down with 80 grit and then followed through with 120 on a sanding sponge so I could reuse them. The rest I scuff sanded with 220 grit since I will be painting it, and hopefully you can start to see my vision here. There were two wood slide supports that were missing, so I made some out of scrap wood and secured them in with wood glue and brad nails. I moved on to marking and removing the bottom decorative piece to look more modern. Y'all have probably seen me do this before, and it really does help modernize a piece without having to add legs. I used a jigsaw to cut the wood off and then sanded it smooth with 120 grit. I used some premium wood filler to fill quite a few scratches on both the base and the drawer fronts, and then sanded it smooth using 220 grit. After getting rid of most of the dust I created, I added green frog tape to separate out the portion of the top I will be leaving natural wood. I covered it with paper to protect it from any possible overspray. I knew this piece was going to be a bleeder, so I added a single coat of shellac before priming with scissor bin oil-based primer. I used a lint-free nap roller to apply 2 coats and made sure to lightly sand in between to get a smooth finish. For paint, I am using 2 different colors to mix and create my own from my stockpile. This is in the Valspar Furniture paint line. I don't measure, but I always water down my paint when using a sprayer. I sprayed 2 coats, and just like the priming process, I lightly sanded in between. I used the same paint and created a wash to use for the parts I had left natural wood, including the hardware. I worked in sections to make sure I would get the look I wanted. I typically don't do it like this, but this was my first time using an enamel-based paint for a wash, and I wasn't sure how fast it would absorb the pigment into the wood. After I was done painting, I had realized I forgot to replace one of the drawer's bottom's panels since it was broken in half. I cut the piece of plywood I needed and put the drawer back together. I would suggest to do this in the beginning and not when you're done painting to avoid over-handling the drawer front and potentially risk damaging your finish. To top coat everything, I used a water-based polyurethane by Varathane in a satin finish. The paint I am using does not require a top coat, but since I needed to seal the raw wood, including the handles, I figured extra protection on everything wouldn't hurt. For the inside of the drawers, I added some feed-in wax. I like using it because it's inexpensive, adds a nice shine and smell. And the drawer slides and supports, I added wax to help the drawers slide smoother. Now that we're done, let's remember what this chest used to look like and what it looks like now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more furniture flipping and DIY content. I picked out a few more videos I think you might enjoy. I love y'all, be kind, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye!